Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing an update to my Thunder Dragon Horus Bystial deck profile. This is for October 2024. The deck on the most recent ban list has benefited in that it's got a second Colossus. It did lose pieces like Appaloosa, but I'm going to do a quick update to the deck and go from there. So for the main deck, 3 Batteryman Solar still proves to be just one of the best starters. Well, it's kind of like a starter. It's definitely a 2-card thing because you're going to use Solar to send Dark or Raw. So we're playing double copies of both. You could play 3 of each, but I've opted just for a little bit more non-engine. Obviously, just the format requires a lot of non-engine to kind of compete, but that's just what I've gone for. I've gone for a single Hawk, and I'm in this current list. I'm not playing Thunder Dragon Fusion. It could be a mistake. It's definitely a good card on like turn 3. It's never something we're making turn 1. But then like if you are going for that turn 3, it's like you don't really benefit from the banish effect until the following turn. Like you should have won the game by then. So just the 1 Hawk, and otherwise we're just using the Thunder Dragon cards for advantage. To go along with the Thunder Dragons, of course, Allure of Darkness is a great card to have in the deck, as well as Gold Sarcophagus, just to kind of help proc the effects in those hands where you don't. But that is the Thunder Dragon engine. I'm going to be doing a follow-up video with more of a pure list, focusing on like a much heavier Thunder Dragon list. It will definitely still contain the Bystials. I think the Bystials just go so nicely with the Thunder Dragon. So we're playing the 3 Lubellion, Magnemite, Druisworm, Saronir, Boldrake, and I'm just playing the 1 regained. I'm not playing like the Beast or anything else to go with that, just the 1 regained in this. Bystial's obviously just with Solar just generates so much advantage. This is like the Chaos engine. We are playing a small Chaos engine still, but yeah. Chaos Creator is kind of a flex spot. You don't have to play this. It's definitely better when you are getting like a Thunder Dragon Titan out, and I would definitely play this in a pure Thunder Dragon deck because you are going to try and resolve fusion like and end with Colossus and Titan on the board. But in this variation, you don't really have much access to Chaos Creator outside of Chaos Space, so you could probably definitely cut it for like Called by the Grave or something else, or like a Levianeer, just another Chaos monster. But we've got the baby dragons. These cards are still just great for anyone like Seals and just more advantage pushing through or just generating more bodies. They're really good for that. But yeah, Chaos Creator is not 100% necessary, but it's definitely a good card still. We're playing the Horus engine as well, just to help fuel the graveyard, pitch cards out of hands. This is probably one of the only ways this is the only way really to get Light and Darks out of hand, Chaos Space being the only other card. If Chaos Space were at more than 1 copy, I don't know if I'd even necessarily play this engine. I think in my pure variant, this engine is probably not going to exist. It's good for sure, and certainly setting up interruptions, like setting up your, to go against Nibiru, so like getting Galaxias Photon Lord to the field before, committing to like the bigger board is awesome, and that's kind of what its best use case is. If you had the money, you could definitely go for something like the Fiendsmith engine. At the end of the day, this deck is kind of like just a link generating or a link body spam deck type thing. So our end board is going to have some combination of Colossus, Photon Lord, IP, Silhouette Hat Rabbit, Heraldic Seal, like things of that nature. So like they're all just link bodies. So at any point, one of the link 2s could just be Moon of the Closed Heaven, and you could play like the Fiendsmith engine. It's not an engine I have access to, so I'm not playing it. It's definitely more of we'll call it a budget-friendly deck. I know some of these cards have reprints, but still, I know some things, some people might not call them budget necessarily. But for the non-engine, we've got space for 9. So we've got Droplet, Eclipse, Talents. Eclipse could definitely be like Dark Ruler for more of a much heavier board breaker type card, but it's good going first as well. And sometimes hand traps definitely exist. This deck is certainly not on the same power level as any of the top decks, so I think having the board breakers is really important, especially ones that are usable and like settable going first, just because you might need them. And then the last card, the 41st card, is the Angel Statue, just for the rabbit, of course. So that's 41 cards. The extra deck, we are now playing 2 Colossus. Not playing any Titan, playing Photon Lord, Zombie Vampire, Dingisu, kind of like a flex spot. Some of these extra cards are definitely flex spots, and that's another reason why like the Fiendsmith engine definitely could fit into this deck as well. Typhon and Chaos Angel. You know, any Bystial plus Batteryman solo creates like the OP Chaos Angel. And then for links, playing Underworld Goddess for outing lots of annoying things. SP Little Knight, IP Masquerena, part of the main end board. Rabbit, part of the end board as well. Dark is just utility. Phoenix is utility. Heretic Seal is part of the end board when you've got like an excess of Bystials and like the baby dragons. And then you do need to play Striker Dragon or Pisty, but Striker Dragon's fine for the Chaos Dragons as well, just to really get into Seal and to link it off and generate the advantage. I'll do a couple of test hands and wrap it up. So we'll try to keep this one pretty short. Okay, so I'm going to run through just a couple of test hands, just to kind of get the general gist of what the deck is aiming to achieve. We've got Bystial Rebellion, Book of Eclipse, Raw, Eclipse, and Droplet. So this in itself doesn't really do anything. We don't really have a way to get the Raw out of the hand, except with something like a Droplet. So we would, we can go for Libellion. In this case, we probably just grab Magnemite. We can fire it off by banishing the Libellion, and then we're probably just going to set our cards. Hope for the best, and in the end phase, grab something like the Druid Worm, or we can grab the Boldrake, either or. The other option we had was to go for Sarani, because then... No, sorry, I'm lying. That was about it. There was no way to get the Raw out of the hand in that example, so not a good start. That's the other thing I did mention in the profile section was that the Bystials, obviously, they do act as non-engine as well. So we've got our 9 kind of board breakers and then 4 Bystials as well. So it's normally in a deck like this, like you could certainly go higher and play like more engines or play larger counts of certain things. So we've got Gold Sark, King Sark, Bystial Rebellion. Oh, we've got access to kind of everything here. Allure of Darkness and Dark. Okay, so we can definitely do things. Not having access to non-engine in this hand is rough. Our 6th card would have been Chaos Creator, so not as helpful, but we try our best. So what we could do with this is we can go for Allure of Darkness to draw 2. So we've got Chaos Creator, Allure of Darkness, and we can banish Dark. And we can use the Dark effect to grab Hawk. This just means that when all is said and done, we definitely have access to Colossus also. The Gold Sark is fine for like bodies. Not super important at this stage. I think what we'd rather do is establish the negate first. So because we have access to like a lot of engine in hand, we don't necessarily need a lot in the way of well, like the Gold Sark, for example, is going to be a fine discard. We don't. Sorry. What I'm trying to say, because we've got a lot in the hand in terms of like the different engines, we'd rather just get the negate. Like obviously Zombie Vampire can fuel things, but like we've already got enough in hand to kind of do what we need to do. So with King Sarcophagus, to start off with, I mean, we've got cards that like we don't necessarily like want to pitch them. I mean, we could go for Allure again. I mean, do we need the Chaos Creator? Maybe not. Yeah, like before we King Sarcophagus, we'll Allure again because we can. Okay, having the other Dark is fine. So off this one, we're going to banish. We could just banish the other Dark as well, because I am certain, or just I know we're just quickly look into the deck here. I'm certain that Raw summons Raw. Yep. So bodies wise, we're fine. That's been used. Now we'll go King Sarcophagus. We've got a lot of things, but we'll ditch the Chaos Creator first. Send the Happy to the graveyard. And we will ditch the Gold Sarcophagus. Having the White Dragon Wife Burster is good for bodies, so we don't really benefit too much now from Gold Sarcophagus. It's just going to be banishing Raw to get Raw. Yeah, that's all it's going to do. And then the Raw is just going to be a body, so it's fine. This is going to send Imseti to the graveyard. So now we can bring back the Imseti first. We just only get Bystial now. Like, we can get Bystial and Chaos Creator, we don't really mind. Bring back Happy and go for Photon Lord. And now what we're going to do is just kind of consolidate the rest of our pieces in hand. So this is we'll pretty much use the whole hand, but it's okay because the board will be really strong. Obviously we've kind of beaten Nibiru now with the Photon Lord, and now we're just going to use the rest of our cards here. So we can go for white, banishing the Chaos Creator. Link it off for Striker. White will search for black, which we can summon to the field as well, and link off into Horus Seal. Now we can go for Lubellion. Lubellion's going to grab Magnemite. We can summon the Magnemite by banishing the Striker Dragon. Obviously declare its effect, and can tag it out for Lubellion. And then we can use Hawk, bring back Dark, and turn it into Colossus. When we go, we can use Lubellion to place the Regained, and Magnemite will grab something, whether it's Druis Worm or Boldrake. I kind of like to grab Boldrake, but it doesn't really matter because, we'll grab Boldrake. So essentially, Seal can just tag into the other one. Regained can now bring back the Magnemite during our opponent's turn at some point. So in terms of playing out interactions, obviously they're under Colossus. Boldrake is going to be an interruption in the hand. Regain's going to draw us a card. Seal's going to tag out. It can summon out the Druis Worm, and then the combination of Boldrake and Druis Worm means that Boldrake can tribute the Druis Worm to send something, and then Druis Worm will trigger to send something. Obviously, Lubellion is just a free thing to get rid of as well. And we obviously will bring back the Magnemite at some point to trigger to be able to search another dragon in end phase. And the Colossus can protect itself twice without 3 times. We've got plenty of Thunder monsters in the graveyard as well to kind of keep it alive, and we'll be generating advantage off that too. So not heaps of advantage because we've already used both our darks, so it'll be dark when it protects. We would be searching out the raw, and it can just add back the Hawk, for example, or whatever it needs to do. But that's the first playable test stand, and we'll just do another one. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to an additional, so one more body, so that was where, if we could have accessed the raw as well, then, if we'd had, Chaos Space over the, White Dragon Wyvern-Burster to be able to get, one additional card, that could have been nice to just get us that one extra body for, a Silhouette Rabbit or IP Masquerena. But there's already, plenty of interruptions on the board as well. So we've got Sarcophagus, Boldrake, Chaos Space, Chaos Creator, and Talents. Okay, so with this one, you gotta just think about how we're going to do things. This Chaos Creator is just going to be food for things again. We can see that. Zombie Vampire could be interesting here, but we don't really have a way to beat Nibiru otherwise. We can kind of mitigate Nibiru a little bit with Horus Seal. But I think what we'll do first is we can go for Chaos Space, get rid of Creator, and add white. Banish for white. This is when you can kind of see, I think, a little bit why the Horus engine is not necessarily the best. I mean, it feels like it should be fantastic because it's like a chaos deck and things want to be in the graveyard. But there's not many cards that actually want to be in the graveyard. It's only really the 4 Thunder monsters, the 2 Dark, 2 Raw. They're the only ones that really want to be in the graveyard. Otherwise, something like a Sarani doesn't mind, but we're not really benefiting from that either. We're getting White Dragon effect to grab Black Dragon. So really the best case at the moment for the Horus cards, like in a bad hand, you can kind of get to Zombie Vampire and that can kind of help. But otherwise, we'll do this. We'll go Chaos Space, put back the white, and draw Dark. Okay, that's pretty good because we can obviously Kin Sucker versus Pitch Dark, and the Bystial's got that live as well, so that's really handy. And now we can go for Seal. The black will trigger to grab the white, which is going to give us another great discard for King Sarcophagus. Just keeps the Talons in hand as well. So we'll go for King Sark. We're going to be pitching off Dark and White. And that's going to be sending the Imseti and the Happy to the graveyard. So we'll bring them both back, and we'll go then for the Photon Lord. Now we've got Boldrake targeting Dark. So Dark will trigger. We'll add Hawk to hand. And it's going to be just a matter of going Hawk to bring back Dark and turning it into the Colossus, the secret rare one. And we'll keep Talons in hand. So it's a very similar end board to the first one. Seal can tag out for Magma, yes, for like follow-up plays, or it can tag out into Druid Swarm so that Boldrake can contribute it, and we kind of get some advantage that way. But that wasn't too bad. Again, one more additional body, like just one extra body somewhere, could have helped to obviously get rid of the Boldrake and go for like a rabbit. I find that obviously very useful for like just diversifying the end board and putting something in the back row just to kind of help protect against like Dark Ruler, Droplets, for example. But that's going to be it for the deck. In those test hands, we did obviously see the Chaos Dragons a lot, and that helped to make Seal. So Seal is ideal, of course, but if we don't have access to Seal, generally we're obviously going for IP or Rabbit. I do prioritize the Rabbit because it just, again, it puts a different type of interaction on the end board as opposed to just all monsters. But otherwise, that's going to be it for this one, and I'll catch you in the next one.